Hey singers, today I want to talk about a topic that may be a little bit uncomfortable for some of us, and that is, how do we bring ourselves to sing when we're going through really difficult things in our lives? How do we dig beneath the grief and depression and sadness and anger and find that song within us? And today I'm going to share with you a few little nuggets of advice and wisdom that may help you through these difficult periods. And the first is that we need to understand and accept that it is completely normal for us to go through days and weeks and months and seasons of our lives in which we simply do not feel like singing. When we are dealing with really intense things in our lives, that takes up an incredible amount of emotional and physical and mental energy that we need to put toward coping with the emotion and healing from it. And singing also demands of us an incredible amount of physical and emotional and mental energy. And sometimes when we are dealing with really intense things, we simply don't have the extra energy in reserve to give to singing. And I think it's really important for us to understand that it's okay sometimes for a season of our lives to have to redirect whatever energy we have toward getting better, toward coping with whatever it is that we're coping with. And the second thing I think it's really important for us to remember is that we need to extend ourselves a little bit of grace. I think sometimes when we're going through things and we don't feel like singing, there is this fear that we have that we are going to fall terribly behind in our voice training. And we then feel this sense of guilt, and we are very likely to try to rush through the healing process and all the while kind of not healing from it because we're too concerned about trying to maintain everything as it should be, so to speak. And as a result, we really don't give ourselves enough time to heal and to really work through the emotions that we're working through. And that can actually prolong the healing process because then we're not really dealing with the emotions and we're not necessarily dealing with the root cause of those emotions. And so I think sometimes we need to take a little bit of a break and give ourselves permission to take a little bit of a break so that we can again take the time that we need to be able to find the healing that we need. But if you are feeling just the slightest inspiration to sing, I would encourage you to find songs that meet you where you're at right now, today. And that may mean that for a period of time, the only songs that you sing are sad or angry. Now, I know that a lot of psychologists would probably disagree with me on this, and they would probably say that what you really need during these times is to find a happy song with a great beat and just crank it all the way up and sing that. And then that will help to sort of rewire the brain and get the synapses firing differently, and it'll help to release serotonin, that feel-good neurotransmitter. But I don't know about you, but my brain is a little bit too stubborn and clever to be fooled by that trick. And when I am in the depths of despair, I am in the depths of despair.
The depths of despair?
And sometimes I just need to sit there for a while. Sometimes I need to sit there and face the emotion head on and really begin to understand it better. And that helps me in the healing process. Some of the most beautiful and moving songs that have ever been written have been penned from within these depths of despair. They've been penned from these deep emotional pits.
The pit of despair.
So sometimes staying in that emotion and really facing it head on isn't wallowing in it, but it can be a very productive thing, and it can help us along the road to healing. And I find that when I'm going through really, really difficult times in my life, I will tend to find a few songs, I'll tend to gravitate toward a few songs that help me face those emotions head on and help me verbalize what it is that I'm feeling in ways that I might not otherwise be able to verbalize. And I feel that that is far more therapeutic and healing than if I were to try to take those emotions and make believe that they don't exist and try to sweep them under the rug, or try to somehow change them, or try to trick my mind into believing that I'm not actually experiencing them. There's something very inauthentic and invalidating about trying to pretend that that emotion doesn't exist and not facing it head on. So I find that in singing songs that meet me where I'm at emotionally, it's not unhealthy. It helps me actually along the healing process because it helps me to express and verbalize those emotions more clearly, and it helps me to understand them better. And one really important thing that I want to remind you of is that if you are struggling with things emotionally, that now may not be the time for you to really nitpick and beat yourself up about the technical aspects of your singing. You want to be singing in a healthy manner to the best of your ability, of course, but if your technique is not 100% perfect, though not incredibly unhealthy, I think that's the time again to give yourself a little bit of a break and to extend yourself some grace and to just sing for the sake of healing and sing for the sake of being able to express that emotion in ways that are validating and authentic. Now is the time to use singing as a therapeutic tool and to devote as much of our emotional and physical and mental energy toward getting better, toward healing and coping with whatever it is that we're coping with. So in sum, understand and accept that it is perfectly normal for us to go through periods in our lives in which we simply do not feel like singing and we're having difficulties finding that song within. And that's the time when we really need to extend ourselves some grace. We need to be okay with taking that break and not beat ourselves up about it. And then when you do feel like singing, find songs that meet you where you're at emotionally. Face that emotion head on. Find productive ways to be able to express and understand that emotion better. And hopefully that will help you along the healing process.